folks. Now, as you know, I set a pretty low bar when it comes to the quality of my filmography. So today we're going to be trying something that should hopefully bring that to a new, even lower level. Yes, I'm going to star in my own version of Bodycam Cops UK, because we're going to mount this camera on my stomach and we're going to have stomach Damien working on EV stuff. Now, if this is not a success, I will make more of them. So be warned, I could recommend either seasickness medication or just stop watching. Right, let's crack on. Now, as you will have seen in the preceding clip, we have our Lexus hybrid gearbox running with the oil pump controller, which is this guy here. So that controls our little external electric oil pump that we showed you guys the last time. And the last piece of the puzzle that we need to do here to convert this into an EV propulsion system is to lock the input shaft. Now, the input shaft is this guy here. So here is what we will be using for locking the input shaft. First thing that I did was I went total animal on the clutch damper disc thing that I got with the gearbox, and that gives me this kind of splined hub here, and that guy will fit onto our splines. Then we have a piece of 50 by 50 by 5 heavy wall box section steel that's going to get pressed and welded onto this guy. Then the whole thing is going to get welded to this piece of, I think it's 100 by 5 or 100 by 6 flat steel, and that's going to get bolted onto the front of our gearbox. So that will then allow us to use both MG1 and MG2 to provide spinniness to our prop shaft flange. Now, what I will do, because I know there's been a good bit of confusion about this, I will, at the end of this video, sit down and give you a long, boring talk about how this whole thing actually works. So, again, be warned. So, in the meantime, we're going to go to stomach cam mode, and you're going to get to hopefully see something that'll look like a low-budget monster film, while I weld up this guy and get it fitted to our gearbox, and then we can do more spinny things. Whee! Maybe I need a crowbar. It look like Half-Life. Now, before we go Half-Lifing, we're going to need to grind off that piece of box section. Got gloves, got face shield. We got a grinder is the next question. It is a grinder, but that is the wrong grinder. Of course it's the wrong grinder. Or is that the right grinder? Yep, that's the right grinder. It's the right grinder, but it's the wrong disc. Seriously. Soon be right. See, this is all the bits that you guys don't get to see normally, but now you can, thanks to body cam mode. Vice grips. Cheap vice grips, so it's a fake vice grips. Alright, let's go. let's see if we can fake Dremel the inside of this. Covered in oil. Oh yeah, that works. I screwed up on camera. Whee! Yeah, I screwed up on camera, guys. So that's good news. Nothing could go wrong there. It's supposed to be this side that would go onto it, not the other side. So that was the side that was supposed to go onto it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cool down the box section, and then we'll see if we can redo this. We're using the right end this time. Yes, the right end. Let's cool that on. The earth clamp. Trusty welding gloves. Ooh, look at these. Nice. Okay. By any anti-spatter. Perfect welding spray. Yes, pity it can't help my welding skills. But might help keep a bit of spatter out of things here. Okay. See how we get on. Know what I was doing. Alright. It's the weirdest coupler I've ever made, I gotta say. Okay, it just goes on like that, and then just is gonna go on our front like so. Yay! Alright. Alrighty then. That is pretty decent. That is pretty decent. I'm going to go ahead, spray that now, and weld it up. Got minimum bending in the plate, so yeah, we'll call that a win. I'm going to call that a win. Zzz, melt. Melt the camera with it. Ah. Melt my old body cam. Now let's body cam this thing on here. Oh yeah. Oops, body cam action again. Look at that, folks. She be on there. Oh shit, what the hell? Oh, I was just a bit on the tight side of life there for a minute. Ooh, oh yeah, of course it's hot. Okay. Let's go chill it out. Chill out. Chill out. Ah, yes. Steam bath time. Mark our hole centers and get a big enough locating punch. Think we got it. Okay. head cam fairly soon for maximum maximum madness. What have I got here? I think that is a 10.5. Let's have a look at our hole here. Yes. Oh. Well, yeah, I think it's 10.5. Alright. Try it with this one anyway. Gotta go bigger, we can. Okay. Alright. Let's see how that looks. And not. Hopefully this does the job. Yay, look at that. Alright. That, folks, is how we lock up our input shaft. Okay. Alrighty. If you manage to survive the body cam, or as I call it, stomach cam footage, you will see that we have our input shaft locker device made up. Now it's not finished because there's more bracketry that has to go on that, but at the minute what we can now do is, for the first time, we can run both motors, so both MG1, which would normally be used for engine starting and generation, and MG2 can now combine forces to turn our gearbox prop shaft flange. So when we turn on the power supply to the controller, the first thing that you're going to hear is the auxiliary oil pump start up. That's drawing power from this 12 volt lead acid battery here, because my power supply can't quite kick out 25 amps that it takes to run that. Then when I push the throttle pedal, we will see our output shaft turn, and it'll be getting the power of both motors. So let's do it. That's our pump up and running. So I'm going to press the throttle. Now we're only running on about 40 volts at the minute, so that's why we can't go particularly fast. So you can see our input shaft is completely locked up now, cannot turn. And now both motors can run our prop shaft flange. We've our auxiliary oil pump to keep oil pressure and cooling going on within the gearbox, and that is how we are going to make our E65 run. We turn off our power and our pump shuts down. So that is where we stand at the minute, guys. We've now got both motors running our prop shaft flange. So the next part of the puzzle now is that I want to come along and make a bracket up here on the top of the bell housing to hold the inverter and the auxiliary, or not the auxiliary, but this oil pump controller. so that we'll be able to just unbolt all this off here, bring it to the E65, bolt it all up and get the wheels turning. So I'm going to go ahead and do a bit more metal fab. I will spare you the body cam stuff, and then we will come back and show you what I've got done so far. I don't know how far I'm going to get with this. And then we will give you a little bit of a talk about how all of this stuff works, because there's been some confusion amongst people that have been seeing me posting some updates about this particular project. Alright, so I'll bring you guys along here now. What we've got at the minute is we have our kind of plate here for locking the shaft, the input shaft that you saw earlier. We drilled some 12mm holes, bolted on 2 pieces of flat at each end of that. The purpose there is that they're going to pick up the engine mountings in the E65. Now what we've then got up the top, a piece of 100 by 50 box. That's basically bolted in there now. Don't mind these long bolts, it's just I don't have any 12mm bolts the right length. This is going to carry the inverter up here, and then finally what we're going to do now, we're going to weld in a piece here in the middle that's going to tie this whole system together here, and that's going to give us a strong mount and make sure that nothing can spin. Now, I know it's not pretty, you know, it's quite industrial, but I'm more interested in improving the functionality of the gearbox as an EV propulsion system than I am in getting any plaudits for my laser cut TIG welded stainless. So, with that said, let's make it happen. So I'm just going to tack this in. Then we mount the inverter up top, and yeah, we'll see what's good from there. Let's see here. Welding mask would be great. Yeah, got that. And some welding gloves would be even better, because I really don't like the suntan. The old MIG welder suntan is not nice. Alright, let's get you guys over here. There you go. Should keep you out of trouble there for a bit. Where's my welding torch gone? Here we go. For some reason my gimbal is trying to gimbal away from here, which is, you know, rather annoying, but hey, maybe it doesn't like looking at me. I'd say I blame it. That'll do us for now. Just enough to keep everything in place. Let's see if we can get our inverter on here. Yeah, we get you guys up in here maybe. Don't know how that's going to work out. This crazy gimbal doesn't want to gimbal, but maybe it does want to gimbal and I'm not gimbling a gimbal musk. Alright, let's grab the inverter. So this is how this works. Not exactly you know, not exactly fantastic or anything, but I think it will work out nice for us. Oops, well, if the gearbox doesn't decide to tilt over. Well, it is tilting over, but it's no big deal, I don't think. Okay, that's pretty good. probably go back, like I can put these off flush. Yeah, we could really do with cutting those off flush, because got the firewall here in the car. This bell housing comes in quite a bit. It's actually possible they might just slot back in under it. Let me go back a bit. I can go back 100 mil. I'm trying to use as much space as I can here. Let's see, 100 mil back. So 100 mil from there. But yeah, that would be pretty good right there. Actually, I could probably even stand to go back a whisker more. Yeah, I'd manage it there. So let's put a tack on that. Ugh, it's just a bit scary the way it wants to tilt forward. I probably can get a block of wood under it or something. Yeah, let's go ahead and say, okay, so that's pretty good there. Go ahead and put a tack on both sides. I don't think that's going to fall off. See here. Yeah, I'm pretty front heavy now, alright. Oh, it's actually, yeah, it's more so the, it's kind of staying up there now by itself. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. That's pretty good. I can unbolt the inverter there. Because the inverter, oh, come on, gimbal. The inverter bolts to this bracket, so we can unbolt it and weld that guy up without having the inverter on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Put a weld down the bottom just to make sure nothing moves. Alright, so we just got everything mounted up. I just shoved it in here against the bench so I can connect stuff back up. Got everything turned on, pumps running, got our 40 volts on the inverter, and push the throttle. And there's our motors running. Our inverter mounted there on top. That's both motors now basically propelling the vehicle down the road. And our pump running the whole lot. So the only other thing that needs to get mounted is our oil pump controller. I just ran out of time today to do that because I got to tidy up here today, finish up. And I want to give you guys then a bit of a talk about what's actually going on here. So I'm going to go clean up the mess. And we'll come back then. I'll basically walk you through what we've got here and why I think it's really going to be good. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty tired after that. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I don't know what that body cam or whatever kind of footage is gonna turn out like. Hopefully it'll be a bit of fun anyway. Alright, so I want to clear up just a couple things about what we're doing here and how we're going to use that Lexus gearbox. Now, so it is correct to say that it is the gearbox, transmission, whatever you want to call it, from a hybrid vehicle that would normally have had an internal combustion engine bolted up to where we have our metalwork and our shaft locker bar in there now. And in that vehicle, the motors do very little work in terms of propelling the vehicle by themselves. You know, that's very slow speeds for very short distances, which is pretty typical of all the Toyota hybrid systems. They're, to me, they are, I don't know, I don't even really know how to say it. They're just so close, but there's really no point. That's kind of the way I think about them. But anyway, that's not the point here. However, the motors themselves and the inverter are capable of much, much more. Now, we have one precedent for this in the shape of the GS450H system, because I'm not the first person to do this. About 3 or 4 years ago, there was a guy popped up on the DIY electric car forum, and he went ahead and reverse engineered the communication with the inverter and worked out how to put it in a car. Got it in, I believe, a BMW E46, made a few short video clips, so it looked really impressive. I did, you know, a hell of a lot of work on it. I believe then, I think he did sell the car, and then unfortunately it seemed that the knowledge to do this just wasn't shared, and it just seems to have faded away. Now, I've spoken about how we got back to that knowledge. That's not what I want to talk about now, but the precedent is that it works. This will drive a car down the road at speed. We're not talking about 5 or 10 miles per hour here. We're talking about proper, capable vehicle motorway speeds on the motors that are in that gearbox alone. So that's the point I want to get across to people. I think it's been just misunderstood that we're not putting an internal combustion engine on this. We're not going to be putting a different motor in this. We are just going to use the 2 motors that are in the hybrid gearbox. As I said earlier, the point of locking the input shaft that would have normally been connected to the internal combustion engine is that lets MG1 and MG2 spin the prop shaft. Normally within the Toyota hybrid system, MG1 is a generator and engine starter, and MG2 moves the vehicle. So in our case now, because we've locked that input shaft, the way the planetary gears work is that now both MG1 and MG2 can provide vehicle traction. So that's the whole point of that plate locking up the input shaft. That saves us having to split the gearbox apart and weld up the planet carrier, as we did in our Gen 2 Prius system. But that's, again, that's a different content. So that's what we're doing, guys. And this whole thing, well, we've already got a gearbox, very same one, mounted in the E65-7 series. And we've now got our metalwork to mount the inverter and lock the shaft and all that stuff done. I've only got one more mounting to make on that front now. I just ran out of time today, and that is to mount that little controller for the oil pump. But that's just make a template and weld something up. Simple, Simon. But I did want to make this little clip today just to explain, just to hopefully clear up some or any misunderstandings that might be out there about this. The E65 is a big car, So if it'll work with that vehicle, I'm pretty sure it'll work with a lot more. So I'm going to cut it there. I got a lot of editing to do. Until next time, check the links in the description there. There'll be various bits and pieces. There's Patreon and PayPal if you want to financially support this craziness. Buy me some more MIG gas perhaps. Open inverter forum where a lot of the electronics and development goes on. Web shop if you want to buy any of this junk, etc. So that's it. Hopefully when we next come back to this project, we'll be mounting that inverter in the E65 and maybe get the wheels turning. So till then, don't forget to dislike, don't share it, and if you haven't already unsubscribe now to let PooTube know that these videos are crap. Otherwise they might recommend them to people. We can't have that. So that's it. Enough rambling. And until then, happy input shaft locking.